They were the most disliked team in the league's history, but they played some of the greatest basketball the NBA has ever seen, while their leader in the eyes of many is the greatest basketball player in the history of the NBA. But did they actually underachieve, and why was one of the most entertaining teams ever seemingly despised by NBA fans, and how good were the Miami Heatles actually? In 1989, the Miami Heat only won 15 games, and in the following 5 seasons, Miami had a losing record each time. It was only in the 1994 season where the team finally broke through, boasting a record of 42 and 40. However, it became evident that during this period of time, the Miami Heat just weren't winning games consistently. Legendary Knicks head coach Pat Riley, best known for his tenure with Magic Johnson and the dominant Los Angeles Lakers of the 1980s, unexpectedly resigned from his position with the Knicks. Miami needed a strong foundation going forward, so they offered Pat Riley $40 million, part ownership, and complete power over the struggling organization. It only took 2 seasons for Pat Riley to lead the Miami Heat to a 61-win season in 1997. However, Pat Riley and the Miami Heat wouldn't see any success until the 2006 NBA season. However, before this came one of the greatest drafts in league history. It was a 2003 NBA draft featuring some of the greatest players in this generation, from Lebron James to Carmelo Anthony. The hype had never been higher for rookies. However, the Heat had their eyes on a guy that could lead them into the promised land. Dwyane Tyrone Wade Jr. was a guard from the south side of Chicago with real game. Wade didn't have a stable childhood, bouncing from house to house as his parents got a divorce. All the drama surrounding his family meant that he never felt comfortable at home, leaving basketball as his only escape for it all. Wade would play basketball in his driveway against his father, who didn't take it easy on him. But soon enough, Dwayne was beating him 1 versus 1. Because of the countless hours playing against his father, Dwyane Wade instantly dominated high school and in college, making him one of the best players for the upcoming draft. After Cleveland selected LeBron James first overall, Detroit, Denver, and Toronto all passed up on the young Wade. However, Pat Riley recognized the raw talent in Dwayne and selected him with the 5th overall pick. In Wade's rookie season, he was putting up a solid 16.2 points per game, getting into passing lanes, picking up 1.4 steals per game also. After a record of 42 and 40, Riley wanted to get better quickly and made one of the biggest deals in NBA history. In the early 2000s, Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant won 3 straight titles for the Lakers. But after a beef between the pair got to an unbearable state in the 2004 season, the Lakers had to get rid of Shaquille O'Neal. Miami appeared as a possible suitor as the Heat wanted to pair Shaq with Dwayne to recreate the 1-2 punch that he had with Kobe Bryant, sending Lamar Odom, Caron Butler, Brian Grant, and a future first-round pick to the Lakers for the Diesel. With this injection of paint dominance and the outright strength, Miami would win a title in 2006 as Wade won the Finals MVP. After Shaq had another beef, this time with Pat Riley, Miami traded Shaq away to Phoenix at the trade deadline and became a middling team for the next 3 seasons. In this time, Dwayne was anything but middling, averaging 29 points per game, grabbing 5.1 rebounds, and dishing out 6.1 assists per game. In the 2010 season, he led the league in scoring, averaging 33.2 points a game. Around the league at this point in time, LeBron James led his Cavaliers to a record of 61 and 21. However, after a 4-1 victory over the Chicago Bulls in the first round, Cleveland hit a roadblock. The Boston Celtics, fresh off of winning a title only 2 seasons prior, were too much for James and the Cavs, sending them home in 6 games. After the series, Cavaliers general manager accused LeBron of quitting. James had had it with the media criticism and wanted to win a championship to get them off his back. Lucky for LeBron, he was headed into free agency and could decide his own fate. On July 8th, 2010, something unprecedented happened. LeBron was set to make up his mind on national television, as ESPN dubbed it The Decision. At 9:28 p.m., LeBron made his decision.
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
And just like that, a new era of NBA basketball was born. Cleveland fans were furious, and the league as a whole followed suit, as LeBron and the Miami Heat now had a target on their back. To make matters worse, the first season wasn't as smooth sailing as LeBron promised, as the team struggled with chemistry as they didn't have a clear vision, as both James and Wade were battling for the title of the best player on the team. However, come postseason, these issues appear to be a distant memory, as Miami beat Philadelphia, Boston, and Chicago on the way to the NBA Finals. However, a confident Heat team had no idea what was coming. In the Western Conference, Dirk Nowitzki and his Dallas Mavericks had embarked on one of the most impressive playoff runs in league history, defeating Portland in the first round, Kobe Bryant and the Lakers in the second round, and the KD Westbrook Harden Oklahoma City Thunder in the conference finals. Dirk was on a tear in the 2011 playoffs, averaging 27.7 points per game, grabbing 8.1 rebounds per game, shooting 48% from the field. Game 1 tipped off in Miami, and it appeared as if LeBron and the Heat were already champions, as LeBron's 24 points led Miami to a 92-84 victory in Game 1.
At 5, 4, 3, moving to his right.
LeBron James hit a 3-pointer from the right side.
Game Game 2 was a very different story though, as it was a tight back and forth game, as Dwyane Wade was forced to take over, ending the night with 36 points and 6 assists. However, 24 points, 11 rebounds, and some late game heroics from Dirk Nowitzki saw the Dallas Mavericks tie the series. In the remainder of the series, LeBron would play the worst basketball of his career, only managing to score 8 points in Game 4 and averaging 17 points over the course of the series. In the offseason, the media torched LeBron for his performance.
I've spoken to Hall of Famers throughout my career,
I agree
and they talk about the price that they paid in order to win, to be crowned champions. Right. And this guy is walking around like he won the title. It bothers me. Enough. You got to get it done.
However, this was just what the Heat needed, as the following season in 2012 saw the Heat play some of the best basketball in league history. With a clear vision and a new game plan, Miami stormed through the regular season, finishing 26 wins above 500, including a 27-game winning streak. During this 27-game streak, LeBron and Wade played some of the greatest and most entertaining basketball of all time, dropping dimes to one another and finishing plays with authority. Miami played very different basketball in 2012, not taking the wide open threes and instead relentlessly driving to the basket, making for highlight plays on the nightly and nasty posters. James averaged 27.1 points, 7.9 rebounds, 6.2 assists, and won the MVP for the third time in his career. In the first round, Miami played the Knicks, who didn't put up much of a fight, losing in 5 games. In the second round, Indiana's emerging superstar Paul George pushed the Miami Heat to a 6-game series, but LeBron's 30, 10, and 6 proved to be far too good for Indiana. In the conference finals, LeBron James would yet again meet an old foe, as Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce's Boston Celtics would yet again meet LeBron in the postseason. After 5 games, including 2 overtimes, the Celtics had a 3-2 lead over Miami. LeBron's haters were already calling the series over, proclaiming that LeBron was a playoff choker. Game 6 was to be held in Boston, as all hope had appeared to be lost.
One of the great clutch playoff performances while facing elimination. LeBron James, right from the opening tip, just took it to the Boston Celtics with a masterpiece tonight here at the TD Garden.
LeBron was not going home that night, putting up 45 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists, forcing a Game 7 back in Miami, which the Heat would win. LeBron silenced his doubters for now, but the real test was coming in the NBA Finals. The Western Conference at this point in NBA history was a gauntlet, but OKC managed to beat the reigning champions in the first round, beat Kobe Bryant's Lakers 4-1 in the second round, and in the conference finals scraped past the San Antonio Spurs in 6 games. All the while, Kevin Durant was averaging 28.5 points per game. Game 1 was held in Oklahoma, as Kevin Durant poured on 36 points, while Russell Westbrook dished out 11 assists, leading Oklahoma to a 105-94 victory. However, this was the wake-up call LeBron and the Heat needed, as Miami would win 4 straight games, as the King was finally the king of the NBA. In the series, James averaged a dominant 28.6 points, 10.2 rebounds, 7.4 assists while winning the finals MVP. In the 2013 NBA season, the Miami Heat had no championship hangover, attacking the regular season with the same ferocity as the last, finishing the season with an improved 66-16 record. In the playoffs, the Heat dealt with Milwaukee and Chicago in only 5 games, but in the Eastern Conference Finals, they met another familiar foe. Paul George and his Indiana Pacers had been on a roll themselves, and in Game 1, he made a tough 3-pointer to force overtime. And once in overtime, he managed to hit 2 clutch free throws to put his team up a point with only 2.2 seconds to go. However, fate wasn't on their side, as LeBron James flashed to the ball and made a clutch layup with zeros on the clock.
West plays the inbounds. Battier gets it in. Here's James on the drive for the win.
LeBron finished the game with a 30-point triple-double as Miami took Game 1. However, in Game 2, the Pacers, led by Rory Hibbert's 29 points, were able to tie the series with a 97-93 victory. After 6 games in the series, nothing could separate these two, as they were going to a Game 7. However, there was something that could separate them, and that was championship experience. In the final game, LeBron James finished with 32 points in a 99-76 win, as the Miami Heat were headed back to the NBA Finals. This time, the finals opponent also had the same experience, as it was the San Antonio Spurs, who had won 4 championships in the last 2 decades. Kawhi Leonard had given this aged team a much needed boost, averaging 13.5 points, 9 rebounds, and 1.8 steals, while it was Tim Duncan leading the way, averaging 18.1 points, 10.2 rebounds, and 1.9 assists. The series was a highly anticipated one, as in the first game, LeBron put up a triple-double, but it still wasn't enough to beat the Spurs, as they lost by 4 points. In Game 2, the Heat were able to bounce back, as a team effort scoring-wise saw them run away with it in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Spurs 19-20 28 in the period. With the series tied heading back to San Antonio, the Spurs had a surprise waiting for them, blowing the doors off the Miami Heat, winning 113-77 as Danny Green came alive for the Spurs, finishing with 27 points, while the highest scorer on the Miami Heat was only 16 points, as Miami was embarrassed. But just like the series had been so far, the Heat took Game 4, led by a 33-point explosion by LeBron James. In Game 5, James and Wade both scored 25 points, but it wasn't enough as Tony Parker's 26 points and Manu Ginobili's 10 assists, along with the 19-32 first quarter, was too much to overcome for Miami. With their backs against the wall, the Heat were heading home, but down the stretch of the game, it appeared to be over as the Spurs were clinging onto a lead. However, some missed free throws from Kawhi Leonard opened the door for one of the greatest shots in NBA history.
3-point game, 19.4.
No timeouts left, so Miami needs a good three. They've got time to set it up.
James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound, Bosh.
Rebound fought for. Bosh has it. Off to the right corner. Allen.
Allen, a three from the corner.
Back to Allen, the long shot.
Bang! Allen from downtown. Tie game. We'll go to overtime.
Miami Heat still alive.
The most unlikely hero, Ray Allen, buried one of the most incredible shots the league has ever seen, forcing the game into overtime. The Heat were able to tie up the series in a frenetic overtime, as LeBron James finished with a 32.11 assist masterclass, defeating Tim Duncan, who had a vintage game himself, putting up 30 points and 17 rebounds. In the 7th and deciding game, it was LeBron James who wasn't going to be denied, putting up 37 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists as the Heat won back-to-back titles, as LeBron James would yet again win the Finals MVP. In the following season in 2014, it was clear that Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh had left their prime years. With a record of 54-28, the Heat cruised through the Eastern Conference playoffs, sweeping Charlotte, beating the Nets in 5 games, and then going on to beat Indiana in 6 games. Throughout the postseason, James put up 27.4 points, along with 7.1 rebounds and 4.8 assists. However, when you look at the numbers from D Wade, it was clear that his prime years were definitely over, as he only managed to put up 17 points a game in the playoff run. In the NBA Finals, it was yet again the San Antonio Spurs, who had crushed the Western Conference and were hungry for revenge. Game 1 tipped off in San Antonio and Miami were leading going into the final term, but a 36-17 fourth quarter saw the Spurs steal Game 1, behind Tim Duncan's 21 points and Manu Ginobili's 11 assists. In Game 2, LeBron James put on a masterclass offensively, putting up 35 points while also grabbing 10 rebounds. However, the Heat only won by 2 points in the game. If LeBron was going to play this well and the Heat were only going to win a game by 2 points, well, the series was as good as over. Over the course of the next 3 games, the Spurs won by more than 10 points each time, crushing Miami. In the series, the young Kawhi Leonard dominated the series, averaging 18 points a game with a steal and a block, winning his first championship and Finals MVP. As in the offseason that followed, LeBron James would sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers in free agency, as he would go on to make the next 4 NBA Finals, winning in 2016 and 2020 with the Lakers. Miami would drop to 8 games below 500 in 2015 and would continue to have middling seasons for the next 5 seasons. And just like that, the Miami Heatles era was over. The Miami Heatles are remembered for playing a fast-paced, electric style of basketball and the way they changed player movement in the league. They were also responsible for introducing the small ball lineups that we see today. Were the Miami Heat of the 2010s a success or a failure? Let us know in the comments below.